Hi, folks. We're Tacitus today. Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the honour system. Can it work with people from any country outside of the West that not only hate white Westerners, hate the West, hate the Western culture and structure, social structure, and come from religions where it is pretty much a requirement to cheat and deceive the non-believer. So now, whether you're looking at the Indian subcontinent or the Islamic population in many parts of Africa, their view is that looting, cheating, deceiving, robbing, defrauding white Westerners is kind of how you do things. It's a requirement. In addition to that, they've been taught by radical Western, mainly Jewish or NGO groups, that see those white people, they stole everything from you. That's why you're living dirt poor, while they're living rich. You need to go there and get it all back. Those damn fucking Nazis, they robbed you blind, so you go back there. So all this sort of stuff is what they've been plied with. And a lot of these people have IQs of 70, 75. So they come to the West and they see a land of plenty. Many of them have a socialist sort of commune system that they exist in their little grass hut villages, and they share everything they have. I mean, they have nothing, but what they do have, they share. So they see it as, in their perception, they come to the West, as I've mentioned in other videos, and say, gee, you guys have so much. Why won't you share it with me? And if you won't share it with me, and sharing to them is, I want that nice car, I want the hot blonde chick, and I want the waterfront house. That's what they would see as sharing. And if you won't just give it to me and share it with me, well, I'll just take it. And that's okay. That's the sort of thing you do for people that won't share when they have a look. So these sort of things. But what I hadn't quite appreciated, and what struck me, and I've done some little bit of research into whether it be in Australia or Britain or the United States, was how much these people, these third world, and I'll use migrants in inverted commas, how much welfare benefit and handouts and government payments, how much they can get their hands on just purely on an honour system. That is, they don't have to fill out forms, and there's checking and there's review and there's oversight, and there's they don't have to do. White people get that oversight, but not them. So they can, and this is how the Somali fraud sort of occurred, is they're able to access hundreds of millions of dollars fraudulently because there just wasn't the oversight, or whatever oversight there was in place were people who were being paid a commission on the fraudulent monies that were being transacted as it was. So there was an honour system, and B, no oversight, no checking, no review, is this a legitimate claim? And the money was just paid, and the government just forked out the hundreds of millions of dollars and suspected billions at this stage, and that's just in Minneapolis alone. And this is a staggering thing. It was quite clear at a number of levels that this was going on, but nobody wanted to stop it. Nobody wanted, and the way to not have to deal with it is you just don't review it. You just pretend it's not happening. And if you don't review it, and if you don't audit it, then it isn't happening. And so, but this was an honour system where, now, whether it's accessing, government housing or any sort of government benefit or handout of any sort, I was unaware the extent to which the honour system, even when it comes into the country illegally, are you escaping persecution? Yep, okay, right, fine, and waved in. What checking is done? What review is done of that? Well, none. It's just so all these benefit, whether it's arriving illegally and getting asylum, whether it's getting free hotel rooms or free handouts or free mobile phones or free this, and looting the white man's treasury, it's done on an honour system alone. Same goes for employment. If the brown or black person says they've got a triple PhD in rocket science, that's just accepted as being okay, fine. But if there's a white person claims that, then the background checks are rigorous. And HR people that I've spoken to are quite clear about this. They've got targets and budgets in terms of race and gender quotas to reach in the amount of employees in the company, and they're not easy to get to those things because the brown and black people are just simply not qualified. So so the way they get around that is they rigorously background check the 45-year-old guy who comes, straight white male who comes. They'll go back to high school years if they have to find something that'll disqualify the guy. Whereas the brown or the black person, as long as they're needed to fulfill a quota, they don't get any background check. It's a complete honor system. So the person can claim to have 100,000 PhDs. No one's going to query it. There's no pushback. In the same way as you see media interviews where somebody says, and I saw Nazis on the street just killing little babies, and the interviewer and the media just sits there bland, just letting it all go through, doesn't question it, doesn't challenge it, and just nods along. The lies are blatant, but this is how the game's played. There's no honor system. If it's a white person, everything is rigorously checked, challenged, and pushed back against. But if it's someone from the favored class, the protected classes, as we call them generically, then there is no checking. But I hadn't realised the extent of the honour system. That it's it's assumed that these third world people, many of them have been coached by NGOs to tell these lies, by the way. It's assumed that these people, no, it's not even assumed they'll be honourable. They're provided with a complete open door for, look, you can loot whatever you want, you can fraudulently claim whatever you want, you can steal whatever you want, and we're going to pretend that you're honourable. We know you're not, but we're going to pretend you're honourable and you will act and behave honourably and honestly and so on, but we're going to behave. So I don't know about it, like a society, how long can any society exist where laws, rules, evidence, accuracy, logic and all that sort of thing don't apply. And the number of people in Western society who believe none of these things apply to them is increasing very quickly. And this honour system is an absolute joke. It's absurd. Just as a basic requirement, if you're spending government money or handing it out, you would have at least some sort of standard of review and oversight. But increasingly, I'm seeing not only is there an oversight, but in order to get their snouts in the trough, they're able to just use an honour system, saying, yeah, I run a restaurant that feeds 10 million children. No one even looks, are there even that many children in the state or the country? No one even cares. It's just an honour system, and people that are paying it out or facilitating the payout just look the other way. You've been with Tacitus today, your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.